What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is Queen Sugar Season 7, Episode 7. So, it's a storm coming, okay? We start this episode off. We see Darla and Billy down at the mill. So, that lets us know that they're at the mill. They're doing cleaning up and things of that nature down to the mill. And there's a storm coming. And, Darla says, well, I thought the storm was going to the east. And Billy said, listen, you hear all the birds gone and you don't hear no noise outside. She said, when the birds take shelter, it's time for us to take shelter. And Darla said, you know what? You got a point. She said, let's close it up. Now, down to the diner, we see Aunt Vi talking to Joaquin. Joaquin is looking upset. And she said, what's going on with you? What's the problem? And he explains, he said, listen, I haven't heard from my mom this week. And, baby brother's getting nervous. I don't know what to tell him. And now I'm worried. What if they don't make it back? What if they do make it back? Where are we going to live? What kind of jobs are they going to be able to get? Are they even going to get along anymore because they've been away from each other so long and they can't make it work? He said, I don't understand. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do. And Aunt Vi said, listen, first of all, you need to stop worrying about things you can't control. None of what you just mentioned you can control. All you can do is keep doing what you've been doing. Take care of your brother. Set a good example for him. She was like, what you can do is get good grades. What you can do is make sure that you are maintaining things for your family so when they do get back, they don't have to worry. She said, we got it. You know what I'm saying? We got you. Don't worry. They get to getting the diner together for this storm. And Hollywood is calling, telling Aunt Vi she need to hurry up and get her tail home, okay? She said, well, why are you so pressed? Like, we done had storms before. He said, look, global warming is real, okay? We're not going to play games like global warming ain't real. Hurry up, get the store together, and get home, okay? And when Hollywood talk, he don't play. She said, I'll be there in 20 minutes. He said, the clock starts now, okay? Now, while he's talking, he see baby brother. Now, baby brother is in the window worried, and he got bruises on his knuckles. Let us know he been fighting again. And Hollywood is talking to him. Hollywood is like, I thought we was going to stop doing this. And he was like, listen, they be starting with me. I just be finishing it, okay? And so Hollywood is like, you need to work on your personality. You need to be charming. And he was like, I'm charming. They just don't appreciate my kind of charm. He said, well, when I was a kid and I used to get, kids used to pick on me, I learned how to be funny. I learned humor. He was like, you? Nobody ever bullied you. And he was like, yeah. He said, I was a runt until 10th grade. And up until that point, I learned humor. And he was like, he said, Richard Pryor was my favorite. And of course, the little boy don't know who Richard Pryor is. He said, you don't know who Richard Pryor is? He said, okay, I'm getting ready to show you Richard Pryor live from the Sunset Strip. He was like, don't tell Aunt Vi, though, because she'll have a problem with it. I'm like, I guess she would. You don't be showing no little baby that. But anyway, moving on, child. Moving on. So that was cute. Now, while this was going on, Micah done came home and he done got Ralph Angel to pick him up from the airport because, of course, he don't want to deal with Nova. Because Nova's his ride or die. And he was like, Ralph Angel ain't stupid. Ralph Angel was like, so why you call me to come pick you up instead of Nova? And he was like, man, it's just been a wild trip. And, he was like, yeah, you ain't want to hear Nova's mouth, huh? You ain't want to get that lecture. And so Micah kind of looks at Ralph Angel. He was like, yeah, I seen that gift. He said, the whole world done seen that gift. He said, why would you do that? And he was like, have you talked to your mom? And he was like, nah, I haven't talked to her. He said, I don't even know what to say to her. He was like, you need to start with an apology. How about that? So he says, listen, I got to go by the co-op and get the co-op boarded up before the storm comes, ride with me. And Micah was like, nah, I got to, I got some stuff I got to take care of. And then Micah gets this phone call. Come to find out, child, oh boy, then ran, remember when he bought a round of drinks at the bar while they were at the bar celebrating. They done ran this boy's credit card, maxed his credit card out. He said that he needs to be able to get to the money that's in his digital wallet so he can pay the credit card bill. Because he was like, y'all ain't close out the bill. So they coming after me for this money. My credit card is maxed out. I got to pay this bill. He's talking about something. The system is down. Now y'all know Micah made $200,000 off that gift. First of all, I'd already cashed that damn check. Okay, I understand that everybody want to do stuff digital and all of that, but I would have digitally transferred that money into an account that I can control as soon as it hit. Anyway, so Micah says, listen, come with me, help me board up the co-op. You know, me and you ain't hung out in a while. And to be honest with you, it really was only a question to be polite, because he picking you up from the airport. Your only other, your option is to either go with him or get an Uber. Like, go on and get it done, okay? Go on and take care of it. So, while that's going on, Nova is boarding up her house. You know, Ain't calls her to make sure that, you know, she's getting her house boarded up. And she goes to open the door to put her shutters, you know, close her storm shutters. And who's standing on her porch? White cop. Talk about, I was in New Orleans and I just wanted to make sure that you were good. Make sure the house was boarded up for the storm. Bruh, for real? Now, I'm going to just go ahead and knock them on out the way. Because you know why? Because I don't care. I feel like the writers thought that we needed a closure to this story that I did not need. I was fine with the way it ended. He left. We found out that he didn't go to jail, but he's back in Baton Rouge with his family. That's all I needed to know. I didn't need this whole moment. But either way, of course, he ends up getting stuck there because of the storm. And he tries all night to get Nova to take him back, and tells her how much he loves her and all of that. And Nova, you know, she keeps sidestepping him. I mean, she told him, I miss you. She told him, yes, you were the love of my life. But then she said, you know what? Do you want me to tell you why, for real? For real, do you really want me to tell you why? Like, this ain't gonna never happen again? She said, because he was like, I mean, you said in the book that I was the love of your life. I've read your book over and over again. And so she said, listen, I said you was the love of my life before I found out that you paralyzed a little boy, okay? That is when I thought you was the love of my life. She said, but now, every time I look at you, that's all I see. I can't get past it. And he was like, well, she said, I'm with somebody else. I have moved on and I'm over you. And he was like, well, how do I get over you? I don't know how to. She said, you're just going to tell yourself. You're going to have to will yourself to just be over me. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. They don't do nothing. They don't do nothing. And the next morning, they say goodbye. Now, I kept waiting for the boyfriend to show up. Like, I kept waiting for the boyfriend to show up. But he didn't, because I said, Lord, the last thing we need is for that boyfriend to open up the door and it be a problem. But anyway. Now, Ralph Angel decides that he just got to drive by the farm and check on the house that don't belong to him no more. He gets over there and he decides that the house ain't shuttered up the way it need to be. And so he going to fix everything. And Micah is like, bruh, the storm is coming and you don't even own this house no more. If the house blow away, it don't even affect you. And of course, Ralph Angel was like, this is going to always be my house. Like, you might feel how you feel, but this is going to always be my house. So, of course, by the time they finish getting everything boarded up, the storm is like on top of them, and so they got to go inside. Ralph Angel calls Darla. Now, Ralph Angel made sure Darla was good. You know, he plywood and he did this and he did that. But of course, he is happy as hell that he got a shelter in place at his house where he feels alive and he feels happy, right? And Darla was like, I understand, I understand. But she leaves him this beautiful message telling him how much he loves her and why, how much he takes care of the family. And her phone rings and she thinks it's Ralph Angel. Child, it's that damn Corey again. Listen, I'm sick of this whole storyline. I'm sick of Corey, I'm sick of Darla, and I'm about to be sick of Ralph Angel. But anyway, moving on. We'll get back to them. Prosper is gone. And Billy decides that she's gonna ride out the storm with soon to be stepmama. But she got old boy there helping her with the generator. The dude that was flirting with Billy. And they have a good night together. I'm talking about Billy and the stepmama, not the old boy. Old boy was there, but we established that he liked her and she liked him, but ain't nothing really pop off, right? But the two of them have a good time. She says, they talk about her mom, and she talks about how she missed her mom, but how she's still very angry at her mom because she said, when I tried to talk to my mom, she didn't listen. She said, I really wish she would have heard me when I tried to talk to her, but she wouldn't listen. She wouldn't hear me. And She said when I told her about everything with Jimmy Dale, if she had believed me, so much would have been different. I would have never left. I would have stayed here, and we could have fixed it together. And she told her, she said, listen, sometimes we do the best we can. And I know your mother didn't have any ill intent. She didn't mean you any harm, but we do the best we can with what we have. And we all fall short sometimes. And she said, you just got to, think about the good times and remember those. And you can't dwell on the bad. You can't dwell on the bad times. You just got to remember the good times. So they had a good moment. They had a good night. Now, back over to Aunt Vi's house, Joaquin is having a little PTSD. Remember, Joaquin and his brother, they're related to the guy that died on the farm back in season 1. That was their uncle. And so he said, this storms always remind me of that night when my uncle died. And of course, him and Aunt Vi have a whole moment. She said, that should have never happened. That was horrible. That's still, something that was unthinkable. She said, but but it's funny how tragedy brings people together. Like, that brought y'all into our life. Here we are today. And she said, listen, like I told you earlier, you can't worry about what's to come. You can't worry about what's down the road. When your family gets here, we family. So if they need a place to stay, we'll figure it out. If they need a job, we'll figure it out. We got you. We're going to always be a part of each other's life. So don't stress it out. Don't stress yourself. We got it. Later on, the boys end up going to sleep, and him and Aunt Vi talk, and they basically had the same conversation about how the boys are in their life for a reason, how that tragedy brought them together, but how they, they got each other's back, and they're going to, make sure that those boys are okay, right? I got a feeling that the family ain't going to come back by the end of this season, and they're going to end up permanently, taking care of them or whatever. Now, back down to Ralph Angel and Micah. They get a knock at the door, and they're like, whoa, who is it? And of course, Ralph Angel is on high alert because they don't live on a main road or nothing. And the guy was like, I'm stuck in I got stuck in a storm. Can I please, can you please let me in? Please let me in. So come to find out, child, it's Corey. Corey asked and came down the road, I guess, to confront Darla in person. And of course, that's the address that he had. So he was there, but he was getting stuck in the storm. So they sitting there talking. Now, Ralph Angel wasn't trusting him from the beginning. Ralph Angel was side-eyeing him the whole time. They get to talking. He was like, oh, so you pledged? Michael was like, yeah, I pledged my freshman year. He was like, yeah, I remember those days. And he asked, Ralph Angel, what did you pledge? And he was like, I ain't go to college. He was like, oh, well, college ain't for everybody. He said, yeah, those were the good old days. He said, but things are so different now, with Me Too and everything. He was like, used to be you get a girl drunk at a party, you could go home with her and have a good time. But, you can't do that now. He was like, yeah, like me, I'm dealing with a situation now with a chick that I knew in college said that, that I raped her. And now she got a son. And he trying to say that son belonged to me. And he was like, So, of course, Ralph Angel's ears are perked up. Like, his ears are perked up. Because, again, he was already not trusting this dude. But his ears like, wait a minute, hold up. He was like, yeah, he said as if all of Georgetown didn't sleep with her. He was like, so Ralph Angel gets up and starts walking. And Micah's like, oh, shit, what's going on? He was like, was her name Darla? And he was like, because he had told him already his name was Corey. So I'm sure he's making, Ralph Angel is connecting all these dots. So Ralph Angel was like, oh, this the dude that raped Darla. And he punches the shit out of him. So he's trying to choke him. Micah's trying to pull him off of him. He's telling Micah to get off of him. Micah's like, it ain't worth it. It's not worth your family. True, think about Blue. Think about True. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And finally, Ralph Angel, they pull Ralph Angel off of him. And Ralph Angel tells him, he's like, listen, he said, the rivers run deep around here and they run cold. And Michael was like, Ralph Angel, it's not worth it. Stop. And so he ends up just putting him out. He ends up putting him out like, listen, you better get out of my face before I do something. So he puts him out in the storm. And he was like, I knew something wasn't right. I knew she'd been off since she got back. Why wouldn't she tell me? Why wouldn't she tell me about this? He know about my son. What if he tried to take my son from me? So Child, that was pretty much where the episode ended. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.